Hello everyone, and welcome to Anime Dreams. This channel is dedicated to exploring unique fanfiction ideas and alternate storylines that reimagine your favorite worlds and characters in bold, unexpected ways. Today's topic is an exciting crossover. What if Naruko joined the Justice League? Before we begin, a quick disclaimer: the content on this channel is created for entertainment and discussion purposes only. I do not own any of the anime footage used in these videos. All rights and credits belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. Now, let's dive into the story. High above the shining city of Metropolis, a lone blonde figure stood quietly on the edge of a tall building. Her name was Naruko Uzumaki, and the wind gently lifted strands of her golden hair as she looked over the glowing skyline with thoughtful eyes. She wore a special uniform, black and gray armor that shimmered softly under the city lights, sturdy boots, and a half mask that covered one side of her face. A small tattoo shaped like a raven rested on her left shoulder, a gift she didn't fully understand yet. Naruko placed a hand over her heart and whispered softly. How did everything change so much? And what comes next? For me? A memory from long ago. Many months earlier, in a distant world of forests and villages, Naruko had done something very brave. When a great imbalance threatened the harmony of her world, she used her courage and clever thinking to protect everyone. Instead of letting darkness spread, Naruko created a powerful seal, one born not from anger, but from hope. The swirling energy around her changed direction, gathering into a bright, glowing vortex that shimmered like a star. As the light grew, Naruko smiled, not with pride, but with quiet peace. Then everything faded. A gentle place between worlds. Naruko opened her eyes and found herself floating in a calm, endless space. It wasn't frightening, it felt peaceful, like drifting on a quiet river under a night sky. A warm, deep voice echoed around her. You have done well, Naruko Uzumaki. Before her appeared a tall, mysterious being, the Shinigami. Though powerful, the being's presence felt calm and respectful. I have come to thank you, the Shinigami said. You restored balance when it was needed most. Naruko blinked in surprise. I just wanted to protect everyone. And that, the Shinigami replied gently, is what makes your heart special. A reunion of smiles. Soft footsteps echoed behind her. Naruko. She turned quickly, and her face lit up with joy. Standing there were people she loved dearly. Jiraiya with his warm laugh. Hiruzen Sarutobi with his kind smile. And her parents, Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. Naruko ran to them, her eyes shining. Mom. Dad. They embraced her warmly. We're so proud of you, Minato said. You've grown into someone wonderful, Kushina added, brushing her hair back gently. Naruko smiled through happy tears. I missed you. Jiraiya chuckled. You did amazing, kid. Better than I ever could. One by one, they each gave her something special, not just scrolls or knowledge, but encouragement, belief, and love. Before they faded, Kushina whispered. This isn't goodbye. Just. See you later. A gift and a new beginning. The Shinigami stepped forward again. For your kindness and bravery, I offer you a new path. She gently touched Naruko's shoulder. The raven mark glowed softly, and a sleek black katana appeared in Naruko's hands, not for harm, but as a symbol of responsibility and balance. These are gifts of guidance, the Shinigami said. Use them to protect, to explore, and to grow. Naruko looked at the blade, then at her reflection in its surface. She didn't see just a warrior, she saw someone ready for a new adventure. But where do I go now? She asked. The Shinigami smiled. Ask the voice within you. You are never alone. Back to the present. Now, standing above Metropolis, Naruko took a deep breath. The world below her was new and full of possibilities. Bright lights, tall buildings, and people who might one day need her help. She smiled softly. All right, she said. Let's see what kind of story I can create here. With a light step and a hopeful heart, Naruko leapt forward, not falling, but soaring into her next adventure. And somewhere deep inside, she felt it clearly. A gentle voice reminding her. She was strong, she was kind. And her journey had only just begun. Zero Mindscape Zero. Naruko found herself drifting into her mindscape once more, but this time, everything was different. It no longer resembled the damp, shadowy tunnels she remembered. Instead, it stretched into a vast, glowing sky filled with floating islands that shimmered like soft clouds. Gentle winds carried a peaceful hum, and the air felt alive with quiet wonder. She turned slowly, her golden hair brushing against her cheeks, and gasped. Before her lay a great, sleeping dragon. Its immense form shimmered under the sky's light. Its upper body was covered in smooth black scales marked with elegant spirals of glowing blue. Its underside was a soft gray, almost like polished stone. The dragon's wings, layered like feathers, rested gently against its sides, and its tail split gracefully into two delicate, stinger-like ends. Its eyes, though closed, seemed powerful, holding patterns like ripples within ripples, glowing faintly as if they carried ancient knowledge. Naruko took a cautious step forward. The dragon's eyes opened. Finally, the dragon said in a deep yet calm voice, "We meet, young hatchling." Naruko blinked in surprise. Who are you? And where is the 10 tails? The dragon gave a soft, knowing rumble. What you knew as the 10 tails was only a distorted form of me. Because of your courage, I have returned to who I truly am. I am Ryujin, the dragon god. Naruko's eyes widened. We are now bound, Ryujin continued gently. Our souls are connected. I will guide you, and you will grow into your strength, not just in power, but in heart. Water formed in the air like a floating mirror. Look, Ryujin said. Naruko leaned closer, and froze. Her reflection had changed. Her blonde hair now shimmered with faint black tips. One eye glowed a calm ocean blue, while the other held a soft red light. A small diamond mark rested on her forehead, glowing faintly like a star. She raised her hands, turning them slowly. I look different. Ryujin's voice remained steady and kind. You are evolving, Naruko. You are becoming something new, something rare. You carry the strength of a dragon, but also the kindness that makes you who you are. Naruko hesitated. Will I become someone bad? Like people who only care about power? There was a pause. No, Ryujin replied. Because you are not alone. You are you. And that makes all the difference. Naruko smiled a little, her worry easing. So, what happens now? Now, said Ryujin, we learn. You will grow, step by step, until you understand your strength and how to use it to protect, not harm. Naruko clenched her fist, not in anger, but in determination. Then I'll do it, she said brightly. I'll learn everything I can. Ryujin's eyes softened. That is the spirit of a true guardian. Dash. Flashback ends. Naruko's POV. It had been 6 months since Naruko arrived in this new world. Earth. At first, everything felt strange, towering buildings, glowing screens, and people moving faster than she could follow. But with patience, and a little help from her unique abilities, she learned the language and built a quiet life for herself. This world was different from the one she came from. Here, there were heroes. Some used incredible strength. Others relied on intelligence and advanced tools. But all of them, in their own way, tried to protect people. 2 heroes stood out the most. One was Superman, a bright symbol of hope who soared through the sky, helping anyone in need. Naruko found his kindness inspiring, even if she thought his outfit looked a bit unusual. The other was Batman, quiet, thoughtful, and always working from the shadows. He didn't have special powers, but his determination made him just as strong. They're so different, Naruko whispered to herself, sitting on a tree branch. But they both help people. Curious, are you? Ryujin's voice echoed gently in her mind. Naruko smiled. Maybe. I'm just thinking. What kind of hero I want to be. You don't need to be like them, Ryujin replied. You only need to be yourself. Naruko nodded softly. Just then, a streak of red and blue flashed across the sky. She looked up. It's him, she said, watching Superman fly toward the distant forest. Her eyes sparkled with excitement. Should we check it out? She thought. It might be someone who needs help. Stay aware, Ryujin advised calmly. But yes. This could be a good moment to learn. Naruko hopped down from the branch, landing lightly. All right, she said with a bright grin. Let's go. With a shimmer of energy, she slipped beneath the ground, moving swiftly and silently. Her heart wasn't filled with a desire for power. It was filled with curiosity. And a wish to do something good. And somewhere deep inside, Ryujin smiled. A new kind of hero was beginning her journey. In Metropolis Zero, the evening sky shimmered with soft colors as Batman traveled quietly to the outskirts of the great city. He had come to observe a satellite communications station operated by Wayne Tech. From the shadows, he noticed 3 employees saying cheerful goodbyes to their co-workers. Yet once they were alone, their voices changed into a strange, musical language, unlike anything he had heard before. Curious and cautious, Batman stepped forward. The 3 individuals moved with unusual speed, adjusting machines in ways that didn't seem quite right. Before he could ask questions, they reacted swiftly, their movements graceful and almost otherworldly. It was less like a fight and more like a puzzling dance of motion and balance. Just then, Superman arrived, landing gently beside Batman. His presence seemed to startle the trio, who quickly retreated toward the nearby forest. But something unexpected happened. Superman paused, holding his head as if overwhelmed by a strange signal, and then quietly lost consciousness. Batman caught him before he could fall and made sure he was safe. The 3 mysterious figures disappeared into the trees. Batman, ever thoughtful, explained that the station had been sending unusual signals into space. Though Superman offered to help, Batman chose to continue the investigation on his own. Still, he accepted a communicator, just in case. High above them, a single raven watched silently before flying away into the distance. Deep within the forest, something remarkable happened. From the soft earth, a girl rose quietly, as if stepping out of a shadow. This was Naruko, a bright and curious ninja with golden hair and kind, determined eyes. A small raven with glowing red eyes landed gently on her shoulder. "That was interesting," Naruko said softly. "What do you think?" "They are not ordinary humans," the raven replied through gentle telepathy. "We should follow them." Naruko smiled warmly. "All right. Thank you, Karasu-chan. You can rest now." The raven nodded and vanished like a whisper in the wind. For a moment, Naruko remembered how she first met her feathered companion. Flashback. Naruko had once practiced a special summoning technique. With focus and hope, she placed her hands on the ground and called out. From a swirl of shadows appeared a magnificent 3-legged raven, wise and ancient. "I am Yatagarasu," the great bird said kindly. "And I have been waiting for you, Naruko." Though surprised, Naruko listened carefully. The great raven gave her a single feather and guided her to channel her energy into it. From that feather emerged a small, bright-eyed raven. "Give her a name," Yatagarasu encouraged. Naruko beamed. "Your name is Karasu." The little raven chirped happily, and from that day on, they became partners. Present. Back in the forest, Naruko moved lightly between the trees, following the mysterious group. She stayed hidden, watching carefully. Soon, she stepped forward, calm and confident. "Excuse me," she said gently. "Could you please tell me what's going on?" The 3 figures turned toward her. They didn't seem angry, just distant, as if they were focused on something far away. "We are on an important mission," one of them replied. "Please allow us to continue." Naruko tilted her head thoughtfully. "I understand. But your actions could affect many people. Maybe we can solve this together?" Before they could respond, more figures appeared nearby. The forest filled with quiet movement. Sensing that things might become confusing, Naruko made a quick decision. In a flutter of feathers, she dissolved into a swirl of soft, black crows. The air shimmered, and in an instant, she reappeared a short distance away, placing a small glowing tag on the ground. It released a gentle burst of light, not harmful, but enough to slow everyone down safely, covering the area in a soft, sticky foam that kept them from moving too quickly. Naruko stepped forward again, her voice kind but firm. "Let's pause. No one needs to rush. We can talk." The forest grew quiet. The mysterious figures looked at her, surprised, not by force, but by her calm and caring approach. Naruko smiled. "Sometimes, the best way to solve a mystery is together." And under the peaceful forest sky, a new understanding was about to begin. In Pocket Dimension 0. Naruko stepped into her pocket dimension, a place that shimmered gently beside her own world like a secret dream. Unlike Toby's structured realm of tall blocks and platforms, Naruko's space stretched into an endless sky painted in soft shades of blue, where floating islands drifted peacefully like clouds. On one of the largest islands stood a grand Japanese-style mansion that she had created using her Makuten Jutsu. The wood seemed alive, glowing faintly with natural chakra, giving the entire place a warm and welcoming energy. Inside, everything reflected her journey and curiosity. There were display stands holding carefully preserved armor inspired by great shinobi of the past, along with elegant staffs, cloaks, and tools she had collected during her travels. Crystal artifacts sparkled in the light, and shields and swords rested neatly as part of her growing collection, not as symbols of battle, but as reminders of stories and lessons learned. Her library was her favorite place. Shelves stretched high with books about martial arts, healing techniques, literature, and scrolls filled with nin, gen, and taijutsu knowledge. There were also medical texts and fascinating techniques she had studied from distant lands and unusual encounters. It was a place of learning, calm, and imagination. The mansion also held a peaceful training ground and a bright medical room where she could practice healing and care. This bright half of her dimension was filled with endless sky, but far beyond it existed another side, quiet, dark, and mysterious. It was not a place of harm, but rather a space that gently confused and disoriented anyone who entered, making it impossible to wander freely. The two halves were separated by a powerful space-time barrier. Together, they formed Naruko's greatest creation, shared only with her dragon companion. That felt exciting. Didn't it? Asked the dragon, its voice echoing warmly. You mean exploring strange places, meeting unusual creatures, and getting involved in unexpected situations? Naruko replied, tilting her head thoughtfully. Yes. The dragon said, amused. Naruko smiled brightly. Then yes. I enjoyed every moment of it. I thought you might say that, the dragon replied. You're not one to turn away from adventure. At first, I thought I could ignore it, Naruko admitted, resting her hands behind her head as she looked up at the sky. But then I realized something. What's that? The dragon asked. Naruko's eyes sparkled with excitement. There are people in another world, heroes like Batman and Superman. They always seem to be where something important is happening. And where there's something important, there's always something interesting to learn. The dragon chuckled softly. So you want to follow them? I want to see what kind of world they protect, she said with a grin. And maybe I'll grow stronger and wiser along the way. Without another word, the dragon gently faded from her thoughts. Time for a little field trip, Naruko said. With a swirl of space-time energy, she vanished. Zero in Metropolis Zero. A few months later, Naruko walked through the lively streets of Metropolis in simple civilian clothes. She wore loose blue jeans, a black t-shirt, sturdy boots, and a black bucket hat that shaded her bright blue eyes. She blended in easily, quietly observing the world around her. She had learned that Superman had taken on the responsibility of watching over Earth and helping maintain peace. That's a lot for one person, Naruko thought. He believes in his strength, the dragon's voice echoed softly within her. But no one can be everywhere at once, Naruko replied gently. As she passed a storefront, a television caught her attention. A cheerful hero named the Flash was speaking. I'm the fastest man alive, he said, but even I can't be in two places at once. Naruko nodded slightly. That makes sense. She continued her quiet observation of the world, learning how each hero carried their own role. Zero after several months zero. Time passed peacefully, until one evening, Naruko noticed a familiar figure moving across a rooftop. It was Batman. Her curiosity sparked immediately. I wonder what she's doing, Naruko whispered to herself. With a soft shimmer, she disappeared and followed from a distance. Inside a quiet building, Batman was carefully investigating. Naruko watched from above, staying hidden. She noticed strange cocoons and people who looked alike. Something unusual was happening. Then, a large creature appeared. It looked like a dog, but different, its presence was tense and unfamiliar. Batman stood ready, but before things could become dangerous, Naruko made her move. She stepped forward calmly. Easy there, she said softly. With a gentle use of her abilities, she surrounded the creature in a calming energy that made it fall into a deep, peaceful sleep. She then turned to Batman, who had been knocked down by falling debris. Carefully, she lifted the weight away and checked on her. She'll be okay, Naruko said reassuringly. Using her medical jutsu, she healed the injuries with a soft green glow. Hearing a device nearby begin to beep, Naruko quickly stepped back and slipped into the floor using her space-time ability, remaining hidden. Moments later, Superman arrived, concern clear on his face as he picked up Batman. Before Naruko could relax, a bright light filled the sky. A strange object had landed in the city park. Naruko followed. From the object emerged a towering mechanical walker. It moved stiffly, scanning its surroundings. What is that? Naruko wondered. The machine began to move unpredictably, causing panic among nearby people. Naruko stepped forward, raising her voice clearly but kindly. Everyone, please move to a safe place. Stay calm and follow me. Her confidence helped people listen. Soon, she created multiple shadow clones, each one guiding families safely away from danger. While the other heroes focused on understanding the machine, Naruko focused on what mattered most to her, helping people. She used her chakra chains not to harm, but to gently hold the machine in place long enough to keep it from moving toward the city. Hours passed. Finally, the situation settled. Naruko stood at a safe distance, watching over the people she had helped. Families stayed close together, comforting one another. She smiled softly. "All right everyone," she called out kindly. "You're safe here. I have to go check on something, but you'll be okay." The people nodded, grateful. Naruko closed her eyes, sensing the energy of the heroes she had been observing. With a flutter of chakra that looked like a swirl of light, she disappeared once more, continuing her journey, not just as a seeker of strength, but as a protector who chose kindness first. High in the quiet mountains, where clouds drift like soft blankets across the sky, stood a hidden base that looked as if it had been forgotten by time. Pieces of metal shimmered in the sunlight, and the wind whispered through the empty corridors. Naruko, a bright and curious ninja with golden hair, arrived silently. She had sensed a powerful energy, something warm and radiant, like sunlight itself. She looked around and noticed a sleek aircraft nearby. I must be in the right place," she murmured, placing her hands on her hips. "But what's going on here?" Just then, she noticed a group of strange figures moving about. Instead of rushing in, Naruko smiled thoughtfully. "Best to stay hidden and figure things out first," she said. With a soft shimmer, she slipped out of sight. A moment later, 3 heroes appeared, one shining with strength, one cloaked in shadows, and one with gentle green skin and wise eyes. They spoke calmly, observing the unusual surroundings. Naruko watched with fascination. "Wow! So these are the heroes I've heard about," she whispered. Suddenly, the strange figures began to change shape. They shimmered and transformed into pale, unfamiliar beings. Instead of chaos, however, everything felt more like a mystery unfolding than a battle. Naruko tilted her head. "Well, that's definitely new," she said, blinking in surprise. The heroes worked together, calmly guiding the situation and protecting one another. Naruko noticed how each of them had a different way of helping. Some used strength, some used clever tools, and others used glowing energy. "That's amazing," she said softly. "Everyone has their own style." Inspired, Naruko stepped forward onto a high ledge. "No time to explain," she called out with a cheerful grin. With a gentle motion, she created glowing shadow-like hands that carefully guided the strange ships away from the area, steering them harmlessly into the open sky where they faded like mist. The heroes looked up, surprised but impressed. Soon, more heroes arrived, some with wings, some with shimmering light, and some moving so fast they seemed like a breeze. Naruko watched them all with wide, excited eyes. "Wow! There are so many of them," she said. "And they all work together." She leapt down lightly to join them. A kind-looking hero stepped forward. "We don't believe we've met. Who are you?" Naruko placed a hand on her chest and smiled brightly. "You can call me Naruko. Or Ryu, if that's easier," she said. "I'm just someone who likes helping out." One by one, the heroes introduced themselves. Their voices were calm and welcoming, and Naruko felt a warm sense of belonging. As they talked, Naruko shared her thoughts. "I think these mysterious visitors didn't come here by accident," she said thoughtfully. "They planned things carefully. But if we stay united, we can understand them, and help protect everyone." The others nodded, impressed by her insight. Above them, the sky shifted slightly as clouds gathered. "What's happening?" one of them asked. Naruko looked up, her eyes calm and focused. "Whatever it is," she said gently, "we'll figure it out together." The group stood side by side, not as strangers, but as a team, each different, each special, and all ready to help the world in their own way. Naruko smiled, feeling excited for what lay ahead. "This is going to be interesting," she said. And for the first time that day, the mountain felt a little less lonely. Near Tokyo. "Well, there is one of those machines. According to John, the only way to stop it is from the inside, so we need to find a way in," said Naruko Uzumaki as she studied the glowing structure. "There are no openings." Diana Prince sighed gently. "Then I will make one." The Amazon princess prepared to rise into the air, but Naruko lightly touched her shoulder. I have a better plan, just a moment, Naruko said kindly. What are you? Diana began, but before she could finish, the world shimmered. In an instant, they were no longer outside. Doing? Diana blinked in surprise. We're inside. How did you do that? Teleportation, Naruko explained simply, offering a small smile. You could do that all along? Diana asked, more curious than upset. I can only go somewhere if I know exactly where it is, Naruko replied. Diana nodded in understanding. After a pause, Diana said, thank you. Naruko tilted her head. For what? For bringing us here safely. The others wanted to come too, but I wanted to prove I could help. Sometimes, being called inexperienced. It feels discouraging. Naruko's voice was warm. I understand. I've had moments like that too. But everyone grows by trying, step by step. Diana smiled softly. You're right. They continued forward, walking carefully through the softly humming corridors. A few curious alien workers noticed them and hurried away, startled but unharmed. They seem afraid, Diana observed. Maybe they don't understand us yet, Naruko said gently. Let's focus on stopping the machine safely. Soon, they reached the glowing core. That must be it, Diana said, pointing. Naruko nodded. I'll handle this. She formed a few careful hand signs, placing small glowing seals around the core. These will gently shut it down, she explained. Nothing will be harmed. After a few seconds, the machine's light dimmed, then faded completely. The hum stopped, leaving a peaceful silence. It worked, Diana said in awe. Naruko grinned. Teamwork. Somewhere in Malaysia. Flash and Green Lantern were carefully making their way through a jungle filled with strange devices. Flash had accidentally stepped into a sticky patch, and Green Lantern helped him out with a glowing construct. Thanks, Flash said sheepishly. Take it easy next time, Green Lantern replied with a small smile. They soon encountered a cloud of strange gas, but Flash quickly created a breeze to clear it away. Nice thinking, Green Lantern said. Just trying to keep things safe, Flash replied. In Metropolis. Superman and Hawkgirl entered another facility. They worked together to deactivate machines, but suddenly the room filled with a calming mist that made them feel very sleepy. We'll rest. Just a moment, Hawkgirl murmured. They gently drifted to sleep, unharmed. In Egypt. John Jones rose from the ground. There is no visible entrance. Batman considered this, then activated a remote device. A nearby machine shifted, creating a safe opening in the wall. There is our way in, he said calmly. Impressive, John replied. They entered and soon discovered that Superman and Hawkgirl were resting inside, safely contained. They are alive, John confirmed. Batman nodded. Then we bring them back. Back in Tokyo. Naruko and Diana stepped outside the now quiet structure. That was amazing, Diana said. Your seals were so precise. Thank you, Naruko replied. I learned to use my abilities carefully. A gentle call echoed in Naruko's mind. John is reaching out, she said. We should regroup. They soared into the sky together. In Metropolis. The city was bustling with confusion, but not chaos. People looked worried, unsure of what was happening. Fear can make people act differently, John said as he appeared beside them. Flash and Green Lantern arrived soon after. Where are the others? Diana asked. They are safe, just resting, John reassured them. We will bring them back. Naruko nodded. Then let's help everyone feel safe again. Green Lantern smiled. We'll do it together. Diana crossed her arms playfully. Even with rookies? Naruko laughed softly. Sometimes rookies bring the best ideas. Flash grinned. I like that. And together, they moved forward, not as strangers, but as a team, ready to protect and help, with kindness leading the way. The remaining heroes formed a plan. They were going to break into the mysterious facility and free their friends. Among them stood a bright-eyed ninja named Naruko Uzumaki, her golden hair catching even the faintest light. She placed her hands on her hips and nodded confidently. We'll get everyone out, she said warmly. No one gets left behind. Their entrance faced little resistance. Small groups of guards tried to stop them, but teamwork and clever thinking helped the heroes move forward. Soon, they reached the chamber where their friends were being held. Great Hera, said Wonder Woman softly. Wait. Something's not right, warned Martian Manhunter. But it was too late. The room shifted. Doors sealed shut, and a strange mist began to fill the air. Everyone coughed and stumbled as the haze made it hard to think clearly. Naruko. Diana called, reaching toward her. Naruko tried to focus. I've got this, she whispered, but the room spun, and everything faded. Dash. Naruko. Naruko. Her eyes slowly opened. She found herself gently held in place by a strange, glowing material. Around her, the other heroes were waking too, each trapped but unharmed. Oof. I feel like I bounced off a giant toad, Naruko said with a small laugh, trying to lighten the mood. Even now, she kept her spirit bright. Are you all right? She asked kindly, looking at her friends. We're okay, said Superman, though he looked concerned. But we walked right into a trap. Before them, a figure appeared, shifting shape until it looked like someone familiar. Welcome, it said smoothly. Naruko narrowed her eyes slightly. You're pretending to be someone else, she said. That's not very nice. The figure only smiled. Above them, the ceiling opened, revealing a large glowing ship. A soft humming filled the air as a strange leader appeared, floating, glowing, and watching everything closely. The heroes stayed calm. Even in a strange place, they didn't lose hope. Suddenly. Now! Called Martian Manhunter. With a bright flash, two figures appeared outside the crystal-like prison, Batman and Naruko. The Naruko inside the prison blinked, and then, with a soft puff, she turned into a swirl of leaves and vanished. A clone, said the Flash in amazement. The real Naruko grinned. Surprise. I had a feeling something tricky was going on, so I made a backup plan. Batman quickly placed a small device on the structure. The glowing red energy turned into a soft blue, and the prison began to loosen. What did you do? The shapeshifter demanded. Just changed how it works, Batman replied calmly. The heroes were freed one by one. Naruko clapped her hands together. Okay, everyone, let's finish this together. She gently placed her hands on the ground. From beneath the surface, strong tree roots grew, not to harm, but to safely hold the strange creatures in place so they couldn't cause more trouble. Sunlight poured into the facility as the dark clouds above faded away. The bright light filled the space with warmth and hope. The strange leader flickered and faded, unable to remain any longer. Silence followed. Then. We did it, Naruko said softly, smiling at her friends. Dash. Outside, the sky was clear again. You were amazing, Diana said. Naruko scratched her head shyly. I just believed in everyone. That's what heroes do, right? Batman gave a small nod. And as the team stood together in the sunlight, Naruko looked up at the sky with determination. No matter the world, no matter the challenge. She would always protect her friends, with courage, kindness, and a heart full of light. Gotham, Batcave. Deep beneath the quiet city of Gotham City, the Batman sat at his computer, studying a glowing crystal he had recovered earlier with the help of John Jones. Just then, a soft shimmer appeared behind him. Naruko stepped forward with a curious smile. Have you found anything? Startled, Batman turned quickly, only to realize who it was. Naruko. How did you find the Batcave? She placed her hands behind her back. John shared the plan with me. She told me everyone was being held, but they were safe. I used one of my special clones to switch places and come here. Clone? Batman asked, intrigued. Naruko nodded. In a small puff of smoke, an identical version of her appeared beside her, waving cheerfully. Batman studied the copy. Is that some kind of projection? They're real, Naruko said gently. And I can also sense where people are, which helped me come here. Batman nodded thoughtfully. That explains a lot. He turned back to the crystal. This object produces a strange energy that creates thick cloud cover in the sky. Naruko tilted her head. Why would anyone want that? I'm not certain, Batman replied. But John mentioned the visitors prefer darkness. Naruko thought carefully, tapping her chin. My teacher always said to look beneath the surface. Maybe there's more to it. Batman paused. That's wise advice. Oh, and something else, Naruko added. Earlier, I noticed they seemed uncomfortable around sunlight. Batman's eyes widened slightly. Sunlight? Of course. If they come from far away, they might not be used to our sun. Naruko smiled. So the clouds are meant to block it. Exactly, Batman said, already working on a solution. If I adjust this crystal's energy, we can clear the sky. Dash. Metropolis. Moments later, Naruko and Batman appeared atop a building in Metropolis. Do we have a plan? Naruko asked. Yes, Batman said. We carefully reach the crystal and place this device to restore balance. Naruko grinned playfully. Let's do it. With a gentle flash of energy, she transported them inside the facility. There, they found their friends, including Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and Green Lantern. They worked together quickly and carefully. Naruko focused her energy into a glowing sphere, gently breaking the protective barrier around the crystal without harming anything nearby. Once the device was placed, the sky above began to change. The heavy clouds slowly parted, and warm sunlight streamed down into the facility. The mysterious visitors, surprised by the brightness, retreated peacefully. The heroes helped guide everyone safely outside. Naruko created many clones, each helping carry people to safety with kindness and care. Soon, everyone stood together outside, watching as the sunlight returned fully. Batman looked at Naruko. Your insight made this possible. Naruko smiled brightly. We did it together. Above them, the sky was clear and golden, and the city felt safe once more. The nearby mothership began to rise gently into the sky, its lights glowing like distant stars. Naruko bent her knees, ready to move. Like I'd let you leave without making things right, she said, her voice steady but calm. In a soft shimmer of light, she appeared behind the floating ship, balancing herself in the air as if it were the most natural thing in the world. She took a deep breath, not in anger, but in focus. Rujin no. Hoko, she whispered. A warm, glowing wave of energy flowed from her, not harsh or destructive, but bright and powerful, like a sunrise. The light touched the ship, surrounding it in a gentle cocoon. Instead of breaking apart, the ship slowed, its engines quieting as if soothed by her energy. Moments later, it powered down safely, drifting to a stop. Flash let out a soft whistle. She really knows how to put on a light show. As impressive as that was, John said kindly, there is still more work to do. Then we continue with the plan and split into teams, suggested Superman. Works for me, Batman replied, already heading toward his jet. By the time Naruko arrived, only Diana remained, waiting patiently. We'll be a team again, Diana said with a warm smile. We're heading to Asia. Naruko scratched the back of her head. Can we stop and get something to eat first? Without waiting for an answer, she sat down and unrolled a small scroll. With a gentle touch of chakra, 2 servings of instant ramen appeared, along with a bottle of water and a small metal container. Do you think it's wise to eat at a time like this? Diana asked. Everything makes me hungry, Naruko said cheerfully. Want some? Don't worry, I've got this. She placed a small paper seal on the container and poured in water. The seal glowed softly, warming the food. Seals can do that? Diana asked, curious. They're useful in all kinds of situations, Naruko replied. So, do you want some? Diana hesitated for a moment, then smiled. It does look interesting. All right. Naruko handed her a container and a pair of chopsticks. Noticing Diana's uncertainty, she demonstrated how to use them. It's a tradition where I come from, she said. But I can get you a fork if you'd like. No, I'll try, Diana said, determined. After a few tries, she managed to pick up some noodles and tasted them. She paused, then smiled brightly. This is wonderful, spicy, but very good. I knew you'd like it, Naruko said proudly. No one can hate ramen. It's the food of the gods. She grinned. Also, I know a shortcut to Asia. With that, she wrapped her chakra around them both, and in a blink, they vanished. Dash. 1 month later. The world had grown quieter. The visitors from the stars had left, and people everywhere were beginning to rebuild and reflect. There was hope in the air, along with a question, what would happen if something like this ever happened again? Batman had an answer. Dash. Watchtower. High above Earth, the watchtower stood as a guardian in the sky. Superman gazed at the planet below when Batman stepped beside him. Incredible, Superman said. Do your investors know about this? It's hidden in the aerospace budget, Batman replied. This station will help us detect any future threats. Naruko appeared beside them with a soft shimmer, making Superman blink in surprise. Interesting place, she said, looking around. Flash and Diana joined them, each holding a drink. This place even has a fully stocked kitchen, Flash said. Ice mocha? No, thanks, Superman replied. Diana took a sip of hers. We don't have these on Themyscira. Stick around, princess. I'll show you everything, Flash said with a grin. Maybe I will, Naruko added playfully. Green Lantern and Hawkgirl soon arrived. Impressive, Green Lantern said. But what does this mean for us? Superman turned to face them all. I once thought I could protect the world alone, he said. But I was wrong. Together, we can be something greater, a team that stands for peace and justice. What, like a bunch of super friends? Flash joked. More like a Justice League, Superman said with a smile. Flash chuckled. Sounds a bit cheesy. But I'm in. One by one, they all agreed. Diana placed her hand forward. I would be honored to join. Naruko stepped up next, smiling. I agree with Flash, it sounds a little funny, she said. But I like adventures, and I like helping people. Count me in. They all looked at Batman. I'm not much of a team person, he said quietly. But if you need me, call me. That means she's in her own way, Naruko said with a grin. Understood, Superman replied. Just then, Naruko's stomach let out a small rumble. Is there ramen here? She asked hopefully. Several of them raised an eyebrow. Diana smiled. No, I don't believe there is. Naruko brightened. Good thing I have plenty at home. She vanished, then reappeared instantly behind Flash. Anyone want some? Don't do that. Flash yelped, jumping. Do what? Naruko asked innocently. Diana stepped forward with a smile. I would like to try it again. They're special flavors, Naruko said proudly. Even I haven't tried all of them yet. As they walked toward the kitchen together, the others watched with amused expressions. Well, Green Lantern said, we definitely have another lively teammate. Hey! Flash protested. Meanwhile, Superman found John quietly watching Mars. Are you all right? He asked gently. My family is gone, John said softly. I am the last of my kind. Superman placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. I understand that feeling. But you're not alone anymore. John looked at him, then nodded. Together, they returned to the others, who were now laughing and sharing food. And in that moment, high above the earth, a new family began to take shape, one built on friendship, hope, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Dear YouTube family. That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Thank you for your support. Regards. Anime Dreams.